Last night, President Obama gives the State of the Union, and then the Republicans have their response, which is normal. Kathy McMorris Rodgers does that. What's not normal is then the Tea Party has an extra response that's given by Senator Mike Lee, and then Rand Paul has his own response, which is not even the Tea Party response, and then there's response on top of response. It's such a Republican move to say, oh, you're going to do one speech, we're going to do three. Okay. Now, there's one thing I know about the Tea Party. They are mighty. So when Mike Lee did this, it was streamed live on YouTube. What's interesting is that our play-by-play coverage of the State of the Union was also streamed live on YouTube. Now, some quick numbers for you guys on that. And I know, look, live streaming is a tough business. The on-demand videos get a lot more views. The live streams don't get as many, right? So, for example, at one point that we looked at their live stream, they were getting 4,500 people at any given time, okay? At that point that we looked at it. Now, we don't have a screen capture on that. If you don't want to believe it, God bless your heart, okay? At the same time, we were above 5,000. That's interesting. Now, if you actually look at the video that they put up of their live stream, it has 12,741 views, 313 likes, and 81 comments. Our live stream, not our on-demand videos, which are much larger, our live stream had 24,730 views, 707 likes last we checked, so that would be more than twice what they had. The views are about twice what they had. And the comments, well, they had 81 comments. We had 10,235 comments. Okay. Now, I don't tell you that to brag. Those numbers are not that large, right? I tell you that to give you a sense of perspective about the mighty, mighty Tea Party that is so important in this country. Oh my God, Tea Party, Tea Party. Wow, they look like they're forced to be reckoned with. Okay, now, what did they say in that response? Well, let's go to Mike Lee.
We're facing an inequality crisis, one to which the president has paid lip service, but seems uninterested in truly confronting or correcting. This inequality crisis presents itself in three principal forms: immobility among the poor, who are being trapped in poverty by big government programs; insecurity in the middle class, where families are struggling just to get ahead, and they can't seem to do much more than that; and cronyist privilege at the top, where political and economic insiders twist the immense power of the federal government to profit at the expense of everyone else.
Oh, I love the way they twist the words. Funny that he talks about twisting. It's no longer income inequality. It's an inequality crisis. And don't worry about the income part, okay? And whose fault is it? Well, of course, Obama. No. The Republicans that have been doing crony capitalism, I mean, not just back to George W. Bush, but back to Ronald Reagan, back to, time immemorial, to Richard Nixon, and the list goes on and on. Well, golly gee, turns out Obama did this, and that's the result, and that's why we have the inequality crisis under Obama.
While he and his allies insist that the real problem is inequality itself. But where does this new inequality come from? From government. Inequality, real inequality, is trapping poor children in failing schools, penalizing low-income parents for getting married, guaranteeing insurance companies taxpayer bailouts, denying viable unborn children any protection under the law. It's denying citizens their right to define marriage in their states as traditionally or as broadly as their diverse values dictate.
If Mike Lee was actually against crony capitalism, I would join him in that fight. I would love to join him in that fight. But oh, it's the government. That's where the inequalities, this new inequality. Did you know? New? What happened in 2007, 2008? That was under a Republican president, right? All of a sudden, the crash didn't happen. This is a new inequality under Obama. And he says, well, it's the government's fault. Okay, wait a minute. If there's crony capitalism and the government is favoring certain people and being unfair, leading to the inequality, well, who's their partner in that crime? So are they just doing it and then giving it to themselves? Is Obama saying, okay, I will create inequality and just give all the money to me, give me the billions? No, they're giving the money to someone else, their partner in crime. That would be the big business, big banks, the people who gave them the donations. But the Republicans always leave that part out because they don't want you to talk about the donors. They don't want you to see. If it's a conspiracy, it takes two the government and the people bribing them. That part they never talk about.
Obamacare, all by itself, is an inequality Godzilla that has robbed working families of their insurance, their doctors, their wages, and their jobs. Many Americans are now seeing why some of us fought so hard to stop this train wreck over the last 4 years. And tonight, his party cheered as he asked for more of the same, as if the solution to inequality were, well, more inequality. Critics might push back and argue that my own party has been part of the problem, too often joining the Democrats to rig our economy to benefit the well-connected at the expense of the disconnected. I know because I'm one of those critics.
Oh yeah, I know you. Yeah. Okay. Apparently, Obamacare, by covering more people, giving them health insurance, is leading to inequality. Try to wrap your mind around that. I can't do it. But you see, the thing is, it doesn't require logic. You just get out there and you say, well, you see, if you give more people insurance and then they have it just like us, we have more inequality. Just say it. It makes no sense, but it doesn't matter. Tea Party Express has already left the station. They're not paying attention. They're like, oh yeah, giving everybody the same insurance. That'll make them so unequal. What? All right, now here comes Rand Paul for the very important Rand Paul response to the State of the Union.
We find that government doesn't create jobs very well. It turned out that it costs nearly $400,000 per job created. Why? Because government is inherently bad at picking winners and losers. Think of the $500 million President Obama gave to Solyndra to build solar panels. Turns out people didn't want to buy these solar panels, and the taxpayer lost that money. Think of the billions spent on the war on poverty over many decades. Government spending doesn't work. It doesn't create jobs. Only the democracy of the marketplace can find those capable of creating jobs. It's not that government's inherently stupid, although it's a debatable point. It's that government doesn't get the same signals.
I love that, man. I mean, he's channeling George H.W. Bush there. Government, bad, bad. How simplistic is this? They're breaking it down to this level. Government bad, code word, Solyndra. You don't know what that means, but as soon as I say it, you go, oh, Obama with this Solyndra. What was Solyndra again? Okay, now they tell you about that solar company that didn't work, that government invested in, right? What they don't tell you about is all the companies that the government, the new energy companies that the government invested in that did work, that are actually created a lot of jobs and are now doing well. Those always, no. Okay, and by the way, okay, I'm with you. You don't want government subsidies for new energy? Okay, great. Let's take away government subsidies for old energy. Right? Republicans, you want to take away the oil subsidies, right? Oh, right, you don't want to take those away. What happened? I thought the government was bad. Government's dumb, doesn't know how to give the money and create jobs. Then why the hell are you giving $4 to $5 billion at a minimum to the most profitable companies in the world? Apparently, the oil companies know how to make money. Bless their hearts. Why do they need $5 billion of our money? Government not so bad when it comes to giving the money to the oil companies, right? Because they fund your campaigns. They sicken me.
I have an idea that will empower Americans and give them the opportunity to thrive. My plan is to create economic freedom zones in distressed areas all over the country, including my home state of Kentucky, which will leave more money in the hands of the people who earn it. In economic freedom zones, we'll cut income and business taxes to a single flat rate of 5%. We'll cut payroll taxes for employers and employees, so folks will go home with more money in their paychecks. Burdensome, job-killing regulations will be removed, and business will expand. More money and more jobs will flow back to the areas that have suffered the most in this economic crisis.
You got a new idea. And what's that new idea? Cut taxes. Wow. I didn't see that coming. Oh, I see. We're calling them economic freedom zones. This is really for like the really slow, like the guys who fell back a couple of grades in school, right? Like government bad, lower taxes for the rich, freedom. And this is not a new idea. Republicans have been talking about enterprise zones for decades. And what do the enterprise zones mean? The same thing the economic freedom zones means. Lower taxes on corporations, businesses, and the rich that donate to people like Rand Paul and his other Republican counterparts. That's all it is. And I love the ending there. And then great things will happen. We'll have more businesses and more jobs. And I will fart rainbows and unicorns will fly out of my ass. It'll be great. Trust me. Just lower taxes on the rich. They'll give me more money and awesome things will happen for you. New idea.